And welcome into another episode of Dan D'Antoni Sports. My name is Dan Snyder. Tonight, joined for the moment by Dan O'Shea and Dan Beebe. That makes us the Three Dan Band. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Excellent.
That is fantastic. Fantastic. You want to know what's not fantastic? Bigotry. And unfortunately, about a month ago, we had to have a little heart-to-heart with our listeners and express our views about how we felt about bigotry and hatred. And unfortunately, Deshaun Jackson over the weekend decided it was in the best interest of himself to retweet some anti-Semitic nonsense. And he's got people defending his tweet. Guys, bigotry is bigotry is bigotry. It's hatred. It's disgusting. It needs to stop. All forms. Hate has no place in the world, in sports, in life. Love each other. Be kind. Do the right thing. Guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, disappointing how many people are seeming to stand behind him in the NFL and NBA, but or at least behind these comments. And I don't think there's a good understanding of on their side of why this is anti-Semitic, but it has to be condemned. You know, the whole sporting world, condemned Drew Brees with good reason. We must do the same with Deshaun Jackson and these comments. So, yeah.
All right. Tonight, we are going to be discussing NFL offseason transactions. The one thing that I'm not concerned with touching on is draft picks being signed, because only a handful have, and we have a lot of work to do in the offseason before we even know who's going to be making squads. So we're talking free agents being signed, mega extensions, trades, everything going back to pre-draft to now. We're going to touch on as much of it as we can. Let's start with, we'll start with the mega extension, the craziest contract I've ever seen in any sport ever. Now, 3 years ago, I told you guys that Pat Mahomes was going to be an absolute monster. And he just got the biggest contract in sports history. 10 years. $503 million. $503 million. I just saw something today that said his dad, who played 11 seasons for the Mets, made a combined $2.6 million.
Yeah, it does sound like a baseball contract with those numbers. Is it the biggest ever, or just biggest in the NFL?
Nope, it's the biggest contract in sports history.
That is crazy. Well deserved. He looks like an absolute beast. By the time this contract is up, he's still going to be, very, very possibly in his prime, which is wild. And when you break down the numbers based on how the QB position is getting paid, it's actually not that crazy, which is nuts. I think they're going to have to restructure the contract in about 5 years. But it gives Mahomes a nice chunk of guaranteed money.
$140 million, I think.
Yep. It gives the Chiefs, security. They know who their QB is, who their guy is for at least 5 years, possibly 10, assuming that contract negotiations don't break down. And both sides have seemed to be negotiating well, so I wouldn't necessarily expect that in the future. Yeah, I like it for both sides, which is not something you can say often.
Seriously, this dude can now afford to buy so much ketchup and steak, it's not funny.
The fanciest ketchup.
The absolute fanciest ketchup. He's going to be putting that Heinz 57 on his filet mignon. So, they're going to have to rename, in his next contract, they're going to have to rename KC Masterpiece to Mahomes Masterpiece. That's what they're going to have to do for the next contract. But anyways, so not much more to say other than he got fucking paid. It does lead to a couple of questions. Well, one question that really has two parts. So, the next two quarterbacks that are going to be looking at big contracts are Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson. I've seen argued two of the top 5 quarterbacks. I'd say top 10 quarterbacks. I don't know if I'd say that they're both in the top 5. But 2 top 10 quarterbacks, both really young. How is Mahomes' contract going to affect Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson?
Well, it's certainly, is the new bar. But I don't think they should expect to get paid quite as much as him, or, have quite such an extension. He is giving the Chiefs a ton of security by having that 10-year contract. I don't think most players are going to go with that. I don't think that's going to become the new normal. But the per year amount is going to keep going up, especially for quarterbacks. There's been some whispers around the NFL of taking the quarterback out of the salary cap and letting them, be separately negotiated, which I don't think will happen. I don't think the Players Association would allow that. But it's something that franchises are really going to have to, pay a lot of attention to. How can you win when you're paying your quarterback this much? And we'll see. The Chiefs aren't paying him this much yet. This year he's still not making a ton of money on the cap. So it's going to be really interesting to watch teams perform this balancing act. But it's obviously going to mean that every quarterback's per year salary is going up.
Yeah, and so you're saying that the per year isn't. I don't remember exactly how you worded it, but the highest paid quarterback per year currently is making $36 million. This bumps him up to $50.3. That's a 40% increase roughly in pay. That is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you play out of your mind, when you can run the ball, throw the ball with both hands, you can do sidewinders, you can do deep bombs. You're incredibly accurate. You're a game-changing quarterback, and that's what Mahomes is. I expect we'll see a similar contract if Lamar Jackson keeps his play up and improves on his passing game. A few other players are in that upper echelon and can expect to make that sort of money, even at quarterback. I don't think you'll see Dak getting offered that next year. I don't think you'll see Deshaun Watson getting offered that next year. It's
Dak wants a 4-year contract.
Take it to the next level.
Dak wants a 4-year Dak has said that he wants a 4-year contract. The Cowboys want to give him 5, But I've said this before, and I'm going to reiterate my feelings. If what's his name? The quarterback from Clemson.
Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence plays as well as everyone thinks he will in the NFL, by the time his career is done, he will have made over $1 billion from playing football. I'm talking 2 big contracts and 2 smaller contracts, totaling over $1 billion. That's my prediction.
Because think of, I guess that's just from football. That's not counting, endorsement deals and whatnot that he's obviously going to keep getting.
Right, I'm strictly talking him playing. His contracts for playing football. His first one will end up being a 4-year, probably $20-some million contract because he's going to be a first-round draft pick. So he'll get that 5th-year option. He'll decline it, and they'll renegotiate a contract. He'll get a big 6-7-year contract worth a lot of money. That will get restructured year 5. He'll make even more money on another 5-6-year contract. And then he'll close out his career with a 2-3-year contract, still making a lot of money. I think he will be the first player to have over $1 billion in contracts from playing football. And I'm only saying this because I'm pretty sure the next CBA, the salary cap, is going to go way up. And so teams can afford to pay more. So, everyone's saying how Dak Prescott doesn't deserve $40 million, etc. When this new CBA happens, $40 million is going to be the league average for a starting quarterback.
Right.
So we will see. Pat Mahomes, obviously, looking like what everyone thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be. So far, similar. Gunslinger, big arm. Really good couple of years. Won a Super Bowl. He's got that MVP, which I don't think... Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any league MVPs, right?
I don't believe so.
I think he's only got the one.
Okay. So, very similar career arc so far with Aaron Rodgers. We just got to see if he can keep it up. It's going to be great because unlike
Was he the MVP in the Super Bowl?